This video is brought to you by patreon.com/worsttake. Get access to exclusive live streams and Discord servers, on-screen shoutouts, and early access to some videos when you join now. Help make sure that we can continue to make content like this by supporting the Patreon. Links are in the description down below. One of the things I find funny is how much your perception of the brand that a team has changes how you feel about a team's roster still. I talked about this all summer. I talked about this in the camp period. I'm going to talk about it again here, but here's the angle on this. Remember all summer when people were telling us not to sleep on Pittsburgh, to be excited about Pittsburgh, that Pittsburgh's going to be the sleeper team. What was the sale for that? The sale for that was you can't sleep on Pittsburgh because sure, that offense, we don't know what it's going to be. It might be a mess. Kenny Pickett, we don't know what he is, but we know that defense is Super Bowl caliber. That's a top 5 defense. And Pittsburgh has a good defense. Not enough to stop the Browns from getting over 100 yards rushing on 6.4 yards per carry without Nick Chubb. I don't even want to add the numbers with Nick Chubb. I bet it wasn't pretty, but a good defense nonetheless, right? They still get pressure. They still have decent enough cover guys, good linebackers that crash hard on their gaps. They're a good defense. One of the things lost in that loss to Pittsburgh, one of the things lost in all the chaos and all the worry that we've had about the passing game is that that's the only area of this Cleveland Browns team that does not look to be up to snuff. It's a huge part. Nobody wants to feel like their passing game isn't above par, especially when you've paid $230 million for a huge chunk of that passing game. That's not even including the $20 million a year for Amari Cooper, the draft capital that we gave up for Elijah Moore. I get it. It's a disappointment that passing offense isn't yet up to par. But we've been so doom and gloom, so sad about that element. In some ways, projecting that Deshaun's going to play as bad as he did on Monday night for the rest of the year. And we don't know if that's the case yet. That we have forgotten that everywhere else, this team has a lot going for it, especially on defense. But even on offense, without Nick Chubb, this was still one of the best rushing teams in football. Jerome Ford averaged 6.6 yards per carry in that game versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. The league average, the highest average in the league right now for yards per carry, is the Cleveland Browns at 5.4. Now, a good amount of that has to do with Nick Chubb, but Jerome Ford stepped in nicely. We know that Kareem Hunt is going to step in and play well. We know that rushing attack is still going to be top 5 of the NFL. Still going to be one of the better ones. Jerome Ford had 6.6 yards per carry. That's probably one of the highest averages of the weekend. So, rushing game, still pretty good. Still really damn good, right? I know Nick Chubb's not there. People worry about if you can still run the ball. You can still run the ball. You might not be the best running team in football, but you'll be damn close. I'm pretty sure of it. They have enough around that offensive line, although their struggles in the pass game are serious. Their struggles in the run game have not. They have not had struggles in the run game. They've been clearing guys out against good defenses. DJ Reader, week 1. The Pittsburgh Steelers, week 2. They've been able to dominate both those defensive lines in the run game, not pass blocking. And they've been able to move the ball, running the ball well with even Jerome Ford in there. I expect that to still be a top 5 unit. Defensively, this Cleveland Browns team is amongst the best 3 in the NFL. Total yards given up. The Cleveland Browns have given up the second fewest total yards in the NFL next to the Dallas Cowboys. Yards per game, the Browns rank in the top 2 in the NFL, just below the Dallas Cowboys. Passing yards per game, the Browns rank number 3 in the NFL, tied with the Atlanta Falcons for the second spot, actually, with 133.5, only behind the Dallas Cowboys, who have played, no disrespect, Daniel Jones and Zach Wilson. Cleveland Browns have played Joe Burrow and then Kenny Pickett. But Joe Burrow, right? Joe Burrow's the important part on there. It was a weather game, but still 133.5. Really good numbers there. Rushing yards. The Browns have only given up 65 rushing yards a game. By the way, you want to see how much of a massive jump that is from last year? This year, the Browns are in the top 5. Last year, the Browns gave up 135 rushing yards a game. Look at me. 135 rushing yards a game they gave up last season. This season, so far, 65. They went up against Joe Mixon and Najee Harris, 2 good running teams in Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. 2 teams that were in situations where they wanted to run the ball a lot. 65 rushing yards. That is, I believe that is over 100% increase from last year. Points allowed. The Cleveland Browns have only given up 14.5 points per game. Their defense. That's 3rd in all of football, just behind the San Francisco 49ers. Did you notice that the only 2 teams that were consistently in the top 3 in all of those categories are the Cleveland Browns or the Dallas Cowboys? Another fun stat. The Cleveland Browns have given up 1 touchdown drive all season, and the 1 touchdown drive was on a broken play. 1 touchdown drive. This is a team by last year that gave up 2 touchdown drives in 1 minute and 30 seconds. 1 touchdown drive all season. Them and the Atlanta Falcons are the only 2 teams to have done that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that no team between the Bengals and the Steelers, the 2 games, division games, neither of those teams have been in the red zone at all this season. Maybe the Bengals, 100% no on the Steelers. The Steelers never even got close. Maybe the Bengals got to the red zone. And I really don't remember that. I don't think they've gotten to the red zone. 1 touchdown drive all season, 0 red zone trips. This team's 3rd down percentage is incredible. They get teams off the field on 3rd down on an incredible rate. They play so many, what's their percentage on 3rd down? The Cleveland Browns. Yep, the Cleveland Browns are again in the top 3 in 3rd down percentage, only giving up 30% of 3rd downs. They have had 30 attempts on 3rd downs the whole season, the most within the top 3, by the way. They've only given up 9 3rd downs. They have yet to give up a 4th down yet. 9 3rd downs. What I'm going to say here is going to be something that people are not going to react well to, because sometimes people don't like when you talk positively about this team when everybody wants to be negative. Everything that y'all said about why the Steelers are going to still be a playoff team is true right now about the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns look to have a Super Bowl caliber defense with a really good run game. Quarterback, we don't know what's going to happen there. You could get column A, you could get column B. You could get 2020 Deshaun Watson, you're off to the moon, you're off to racing, you're going to be a really good team. You can get what we're getting from Deshaun Watson right now, and, going to be running the ball a lot. But if you could sit there, look me dead in the face and tell me that you think Pittsburgh is a playoff team, because you think they have a Super Bowl caliber defense and they can just get by on offense. How do you look me in the face and tell me that this Browns team is suddenly doomed if the quarterback does not step up? Now, I think the quarterback's going to play better. Obviously better than what he did on Monday night. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about he's going to play at a higher level than that. He's going to get closer to that 2019. Whether he gets past that or at that, we'll see. I'm not 100% convinced of that right now. But he's going to play better, right? I think it would be foolish to assume that he plays as bad as he did Monday night for the rest of the season. I think that would really be foolish. So somehow in all that aftermath, and look, this is something that Browns fans, I love us, but this is how we can get sometimes, where we love to wallow in our own doom and gloom. We can have a room that's lit brightly and beautifully, but we're going to look at the few shadows in the room and really dwell on that. Right now, there are shadows in the room. No Nick Chubb. Deshaun Watson does not look great. Those are the two shadows. But then you look around the room and, oh my God. Y'all know that was it. That's an elite defense. Look at that. Look. Elite defense. Look around the room. That's an elite defense. But instead of looking around at what's obvious, look, we got an elite defense. Jerome Ford was cooking in that game, and we brought back somebody who we know is good in Kareem Hunt, who lost 10 pounds. He might be more explosive. Who knows? He's obviously got to get in game shape. It's going to be a couple weeks so we really see what he's into. But still, it's very encouraging. I would be very encouraged. This team's 1-1. Yes, Monday night was embarrassing and sad. But this team's 1-1. They have an elite defense, a top 3 defense in almost every serious category. And it's not one of them, they top 3 on paper, but we don't really see it. Top 3 defenses. This is a top 3 defense. When you watch it, you're like, yeah, that's a top 3 defense. They're very good. Y'all trust Jim Schwartz. Y'all want him to be head coach, some of y'all. So y'all know the defense is great. And it's not just great. It's elite. Like, we have not had an elite defense in Cleveland since expansion. I don't know when the last time Cleveland had an elite defense. This is an elite defense. So again, I say this. If y'all believed that Pittsburgh could be a playoff team and shouldn't be slept on just because of their defense alone, then why aren't we talking about this top 3 defense? Elite defense. The best defense in the AFC. You saw them top 3 teams. It was either the Falcons, the Cowboys, or the 49ers. All the other defenses, AFC. Well, the only AFC defense in there, Browns, against 2 AFC opponents. We know the AFC is tougher. So again, and they played 2 division games in the toughest division in football. And if you don't think the passing numbers are impressive because of the circumstances, Kenny Pickett, Joe Burrow in the rain, that's fair enough. But them rushing numbers are impressive. Elite defense, y'all. I don't want us to get so caught up in what's not going right that we forget what's going right. And this defense is going beyond right. I said it might be premature to say this is a top 5 defense in the offseason. My bad. So far through 2 weeks in the season, top 3. All right. All right. You should get excited about that. Look, here's the benefit of having a top 3 defense, because I know if the quarterback play does not go up, the ceiling on this team is inevitable. But if you have a top 3 defense, what that means is that defense is going to be your safety blanket. It's going to stop you from digging yourself a hole early in the season, right? When you're trying to get the offense together, when you're trying to get Deshaun to feel comfortable again in this offense, when you're trying to get this running game to reformulate without Nick Chubb, this defense gives you that safety blanket. It might not be the prettiest football you've ever seen, but it will be functional football, and it will be a level of football that will be able to keep you above 500 if this defense maintains this level of play. We have to see if this is what they're going to be. Through 2 weeks, this is what they've been. That doesn't mean that's what they're going to be for the rest of the year, but this is what they've been. And that's what will save this season for the Browns. is if this defense is elite. This defense can be the thing that gives time for this offense to catch up. We've seen it before. We've seen elite defenses give offenses time for teams that won the Super Bowl. We saw this with both of Eli Manning's championship years. If anything saves, it's impossible to say save the season in week 2 or week 3. But if anything gives the Browns a ability to start slowing offense, it's this defense, and the run game's still really good. Not going to be top 10 or not going to be top 2 or 3, but you'll be top 5 in the run game. You'll still be very good. So while we're rightfully concerned about Deshaun Watson, while we're rightfully concerned about the passing game, it's important to remember that the passing game is the only thing about this football team we don't feel really good about. That still means that this team has the potential to be really good. So don't forget about this defense. Don't sleep on this defense. This defense has been real. It's something to be excited about. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section down below. Y'all have a great day. Have a good night.